Fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. Hashtag one on Facebook.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one incredibly awesome, super cool, amazing, and downright super awesome racing show tonight. So with us tonight, we have Dylan Contu. Welcome to the show, Dylan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Dylan, let's talk. Okay, I know we did on the Facebook version. We talked about your racing career, if I'm not mistaken, there. But let's restart over here on the YouTube version. Where did it all begin for you?
For me, it began at Silver City at the age of 5. I began racing quarter midgets at Silver City, which I continued to do for 7 years, and then I retired and I went to Little T Speedway in Thompson, Connecticut, where I ran for another additional 2 seasons, and then I retired from quarter midgets for good, and I'm now running NEMA Lights.
Okay, so did you have a lot of success in the quarter midget stuff, Dylan?
I mean, I was a contender a lot, but I didn't win a whole lot. I was like a 4th place fastest car most weeks, which was cool, but not, I got beat a lot.
Oh yeah, but you were considered a front runner, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Dylan, so when you transitioned over to NEMA Lights, was that a pretty hard transition for you, or was it pretty easy?
No, it was one of the easier transitions. I've been told that it takes most drivers like 3 years to transition. I just won on May 21st. I won my first race at Lee USA Speedway in 20-ish starts.
Okay. So Dylan, let's talk about your race car number now. Where did that number 53 come from?
So 5 was always my quarter midget number, but that was taken when I first moved up. So I added the 3 onto it, which was when me and 2 of my other best friends from Silver City all won on one weekend, and we all won with custom handmade 3s. So that's where the 3 came from.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So Dylan, with your NEMA Light, have you had a lot of success with the NEMA Light lately?
Yeah, so far this year, I'm only like 5 races in, but I've got like an average finishing position of like 5th, and with 1 race win and 2 top 5s.
Okay. How many years have you been in NEMA Lights now?
It's just a direct drive. It's just it's in gear, or it's in gear or it's out of gear.
Yes, how many years have you been in?
Oh, so this is my 2nd full season.
Second full season. Okay.
Yep, I ran 1 full season last year.
So what was your first full season like for you in the NEMA Light?
I ran in the top 10 a lot. Once I got like my first top 10, like about midway through the year, I started pretty consistently running in the top 10, finishing like 7th and whatnot, which was pretty cool. But once I started going back to tracks, I started doing better.
Okay. So Dylan, now that you're running NEMA Lights, what is your 5-year plan with the racing? Where do you want to be at in 5 years?
5 years, I'd like to win a couple more races and, try and continue to run up front like I am this year so far, and just kind of keep that going would be cool.
Okay. And how about your 10-year plan? Where do you want to be at in 10 years?
I don't even know. In 10 years? I don't even know if I'll be racing in 10 years.
Come on, we got to get some realistic goals with you. You got to be in an IndyCar or something in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
So Dylan, let's talk about now, what do you got for sponsors on your race car?
I have a couple of local sponsors. I have Sorrell's Pizza and Pub, First American Home Loans, Axel Sports, who makes my fire suits, 5-Star Racewear, who I get some of my merchandise from. You can actually buy it online. I just got my newest sponsor from Grizzled Eye Care, and me, mom, poppy, and my mom and dad.
Okay. So Dylan, when it comes to your racing and you're strapped in to go out on that racetrack in your NEMA Light races, what helps get you psyched up to get into that moment, to get behind the wheel of that car?
I mean, I know going into the weekend, it's pretty exciting. But once I get in the car, it's just like any other race. You just kind of go out. I get anxious typically before my race, but once I get past that, I'm usually pretty good.
So when you're racing NEMA Lights, okay, because I don't know a lot about NEMA Lights, how many cars do you compete against on a given weekend in NEMA Lights?
I mean, we typically have as little as 13 and as many as 18. And then at our really big race, the Boston Louis, we typically get like 26 plus cars.
Very cool. Very cool. So you guys run V6 motors, or are you running V8 motors in your NEMA lights?
They're actually just stock like Ford Focus motors. They're just
okay.
So they're 4-cylinder engines with. They're like, most people put the racing cams in them, and like they're all lightweight everything, but they're essentially just Ford Focus.
Okay, and your NEMA lights also run on midget tires, right? Too, kind of like.
Yep, they run on traditional tires, and like it's a traditional. Other than the motor, it's a traditional midget.
Okay, and how do you start your NEMA light to go out on the track? Do you have to have a push start, or?
Nope, they've got starters. They're the one midgets that have starters and clutches.
Okay. So Dylan, when it comes to your paint scheme per year with your racing team, do you sit down and kind of pre-plan that out, or is it just something you stick with every year?
Well, typically when I ran quarter midgets, I used to have like checkerboard on every one of my cars. Every single one of my paint schemes had some sort of checkerboard in it. And then when I moved up, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to leave that behind. Not that I didn't think it was cool anymore, just moving on to something different.
Okay.
Now I have the first car I had like kind of, we bought it with like a kind of swooping paint scheme. So we kind of tried to keep it the same. It's a little different now, but it's similar.
Okay. So Dylan, with your paint schemes and stuff like that, and every year before you take the track, you have to tear the car down and get it ready for next season. Do you take part in all that process of getting the car ready for next season and stuff like that?
Yeah, I typically do help get the car ready during the week and during the off season. I help get the car ready. When it comes to the track, I let my dad and my racing mentor Eric do most of the work, because I just feel like I'm in the way. But I give my input.
So, okay, working on your race car, what is the most challenging thing that you've had to work on your race car so far?
Probably so far tearing it apart. It was still pretty difficult having to take so many pictures all over again, because I ran quarter midgets for 9 years. Eventually, it's just like I could take a quarter midget apart in my sleep. So
yeah. So Dylan, so now, okay, you have one victory in the NEMA light, which is pretty cool. So what is the worst experience you've had behind the wheel of your NEMA light thus far?
Well, that is probably one of the biggest experiences, but the next best is probably my first top 5 when at Wiscasset Speedway up in Wiscasset, Maine. Was pretty cool to get my first top 5. I guess it was because I went from running like in the bottom part of the top 10 to I finished 4th after starting in the back. So I started like dead last in our 60 lapper. Which is the longest.
Okay. So what is the worst thing you've had happen to you as a race car driver behind the wheel of your NEMA light?
Oh, hitting the wall.
Hitting the wall? When was that then?
I got on my first race last year. I got I was starting in the back, and the leaders spun and they went back up the track. And in quarter midgets, they always would go up the track and then go back down. Well, I found out the hard way that in big cars, that doesn't happen. So I just had to keep going higher and higher and higher to try to avoid it. And eventually I got up in the marbles and the car just doesn't turn anymore.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Dylan, when it comes to your racing career, putting together all the pieces, who is your racing hero for your racing career?
My racing hero started out as Joey Logano, because Silver City is the track he just had repaved. So, okay. which was pretty cool. But I have also grown to like Ryan Blaney a lot, because I've actually I've gotten to meet him too, and he's like the nicest person I've ever met.
So, okay, you've met Ryan Blaney, but have you met Joey Logano?
Yes, I have. I've met both of them. I have multiple autographs from both.
How's Joey Logano to deal with?
Joey Logano I know a lot of people might not like him because he tends to be pretty aggressive and whatnot, but I always think he's an aggressive race car driver, but he's like a really nice person.
Okay. So, Dylan, okay, now are you still looking for sponsorship for your racing team?
We're always looking for sponsors. You can never have too many.
Okay, so if there's anybody going to be out here watching this racing show with me and the number 53, Dylan Contu, NEMA Light, and you want to help him sponsor his racing team, reach out to Dylan, his dad, Ron, or his mom, Erica, because they'd appreciate the sponsorship on Dylan's race car as he gets further into his racing career. So Dylan, so let's talk now about, okay, about your racing team and stuff like that. Who's all on your racing team to help work on your race car besides your dad and you?
It's me, mom, my poppy help a lot. They go to all of my races. My poppy's pretty involved when it comes to working on the car. My mentor Eric, my mom is there for moral support all the time, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so when you're racing NEMA lights, do you kind of go out and walk the track to see what the track grip is doing, or do you just kind of sit and watch the racing action to kind of get to figure out where you need to run and stuff like that?
I mean, sometimes most of these tracks that we're going back to now that I've already raced at, I kind of know what the grip level's like, but I know tracks like when we go to Lee, I know that track's I'm gonna be sideways the whole time, and I'm gonna have to conserve my tires to make them last the whole race. But then we go to tracks like smaller tracks like Star Speedway and Hudson Speedway that I know are fast and pretty high grip tracks.
Okay. So on a given weekend, how many sets of tires do you go through on a given weekend?
We usually go through one. We usually put one new set on every race.
Okay. So have you ever been to a track that you've blistered tires? Like, hey, we need to change them out halfway into the race weekend.
I haven't had a tire blister that badly, but I have gone to tracks and have tires blister and then be junk after the race. Because typically what we do, I only have 2 practices and a heat race and a feature. So yeah. I typically run an old set of tires, like typically the tires from the week before, the new tires from the week before. And my first practice, I scuff tires in my second practice. And then I run the used tires that we ran in first practice and then my heat, and then run the new tires in the feature. So that way I can serve all my tires.
Okay.
Get the most out of them.
So Dylan, so when you're at the racetrack and you're getting hungry, what's your favorite thing to eat at the track?
Oh, my mom usually makes me a cheeseburger, or sometimes she makes me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter and fluff sandwich.
Okay, here's another question for you. When you're going out to eat away from the track, what's your favorite place to eat at?
Oh, I like it when we go to 99 after the races, but I also do enjoy my McDonald's from time to time. So here's a big question for you, Dylan. I'm going to put you on the spot here because I know your mom's sitting beside you, and hopefully you don't get this wrong. What is your mom's favorite meal that you like for her to cook for you? Ooh. I like it when she makes me like bacon, egg, and cheese at home sometimes. Those are usually pretty good.
Okay, very good. So Dylan, away from the racetrack, what do you like to do?
I do track and field during when we're not racing. So that I enjoy doing that, but I also enjoy going outside and doing stuff sometimes.
Okay. So Dylan, so what grade are you going to be in this fall then?
Today was actually my last day of freshman year, so I'm going to be a sophomore.
Going to be a sophomore next year. Very cool. So are you getting close to getting your license in to become a street legal driver?
No.
Yeah, no. I should be, but my parents are like, no.
No,
they can't afford both. They can't afford racing and the insurance.
Okay. So Dylan, do you have a racing nickname that people can call you at the racetrack besides Dylan?
Not typically.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people call me Dill, but people close to me call me Dill, but that's about it.
Okay. So Dylan, it's been my pleasure to talk to you tonight a little bit about your racing career and getting to know you a little bit better there. So Dylan, do you have anything out there you want to say to the kids to help get them behind the wheel of a race car?
I mean, I know for me, I loved racing car emergence as a kid. I mean, I know as I grew older or whatever, I started not to like it, but as a kid, I really loved it. I thought it was cool that I got to hang out with all the kids my age and still get to race and have fun and be competitive. So I always enjoyed that. But I really like quarter midgets, go-karts. I mean, I think quarter midgets are better than go-karts, but that's my opinion. It's slightly biased.
So okay, Dylan, when being you're racing NEMA lights, who are some of your friends in the NEMA light category?
Well, I'm one of the few young. I'm like the third youngest kid, but I'm friends with a lot of the other drivers that are my age. I sold my first car that I bought to Braden Egan, who drives the number 59 car.
Okay.
And then I also have one of my other friends who drives the 8 NEMA light car and he's 13. He's about to turn 14 in a couple of weeks.
Okay. So you're friends with Michael Persiglio?
Off the track.
Yeah, off the track.
Okay. Off the track.
Okay. So, Dylan, so when you're at the racetrack, does your mom ever give you a hard time saying, "Hey, you should have done better out there"?
No, my mom's usually pretty calm about it. She understands that I race against people with more experience in NEMA than I have age. So
So here's another question for you, Dylan. Being you're away when you're away from the racetrack, do you stay out of trouble at home, or are you kind of mischievous?
sometimes I stay out of trouble. I usually try.
Okay. All righty. So Dylan, where are you racing at this weekend?
I have this weekend off, but my next race is next Wednesday at Seekonk Speedway on the 29th.
Okay. So, and what is your home racetrack there, Dylan?
It would either be on the New London Watford Speedway or Thompson Speedway. I'm a half an hour away from both.
Okay. So do you have any big races that you're getting ready to compete in coming up?
Well, this Seekonk race is pretty big because this is the only race we have at Seekonk before the Boston Louis. So,
okay.
And the Boston Louis is the biggest race we have. So
let's talk about the Boston Louis now. Okay. What is the Boston Louis? Because I'm not familiar with that at all.
The Boston Louis is where everyone from down south who runs without wings comes up and races with wings and whatnot. It's in memory of Mr. Bobby Seymour's dad, who was like really big in midget racing. I can never seem to recall his actual name, but his nickname was Boston Louis. So it's like the biggest race is because he was like the father of asphalt midgets. Okay.
So Dylan, when you're strapped in your race car, what helps protect you from getting hurt behind the wheel of that race car? What do you have in there to protect you?
I mean, I have like, I have wrist restraints to stop my wrists, my arms or whatever from going outside of the car. I have a 5-point safety harness. I have a next gen. I have gloves, a helmet, and racing, and I have special racing shoes.
And you have your fire suit too, so that's
and my fire protection like underwear.
Yep. Oh yeah. So Dylan. So like I said, it's been my pleasure to have you on the racing show with me tonight, talking to us about your racing career, getting to know you a little bit better. I'm going to call you a little bit to thank you in person for being on board with me tonight. Midway into your season, say probably around August, can I call you tonight and get that scheduled to have you come back on here again and give us an update?
Yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be great.
Okay. Thank you, Dylan. Do you have anything out there you want to ask me, being I'm going to put myself on the hot shoot right now?
I don't think so.
Okay, Dylan. But thank you very much, Dylan, for being a part of this. I will call you in a little bit to thank you in person. I will let you step out and I will give a little racing news update and I will be calling you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yep. Bye-bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dylan, number 53, Dylan Contu, racer of the NEMA Light race car out in Connecticut. So, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance to go to a NEMA Light race, check it out. A little racing news update for you there. Let's go here into here. Boom. Let's see who we got here. Okay. Into racing news headquarters here. Let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're getting ready to have some big races coming up in our area out here in the Midwest. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk to you a little bit about that here in just a second as soon as I pull up the info on that. Yes, the Midwest Madness is getting ready to kick off this weekend at Worthington Speedway, Sunday, June 26th, which is Midwest Madness, and they're going to be there. It's a big IMCA touring series event that they have every year. But then Monday, the 27th, they're going to be at Clay County Fair Speedway in Spencer, Iowa. Tuesday, the 28th, they will be in Buena Vista Raceway in Alta. Wednesday, the 29th, they'll be at Shelby County Speedway in Harlan. And then Thursday, the 30th, the final night of it, they will be at Stewart Speedway in Stewart, Iowa. The payout for that race alone for IMCA Modifieds is $1,000 to win and 150 to start, and 1,000 to win for IMCA stock cars, and 125 to start. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, 500 to win for IMCA sports mods, 400 to win for IMCA hobby stocks, and 200 to win for IMCA sport compacts. It'll be IMCA sanctioned, points funded in all classes, fast shaft and BMB racing chassis, all-star qualifiers. It'll be live streaming on Advanced Racing TV. For more information, contact Tim Scarra. But the past champions of this race alone are 2019 in the IMCA modifieds was Jesse Sabin, and then 2020 was Justine Sabin also. And then 2021 was Kyle Brown in the modifieds. And then IMCA stock cars, 2019 was Brad Stapleton, 2020 was Elijah Zievenbergen, and then 2021 was Dolan, the game changer Murdy. And then 2019 for IMCA Sport Mods was Doug Smith. 2020 was Josh Most. 2021 was Rusty Montage. Okay, and IMCA Hobby Stocks, Hobby Stocks, 2019 was Kevin Bruck. 2020 was Jason Fusselman. 2021 was Luke Ramsey. And then also IMCA Sport Compacts, Drake in 2021 was Drake Bullmeyer. So definitely get a chance. If you guys get a chance to check out that racing tour coming up, definitely do that. That is going to be some huge racing there, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely check all that out. And hopefully also, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Dolan can continue on the winning quest in his 125 micro sprint car number 7D. Hopefully he can continue his successful season, and hopefully Preston Latimus can continue building on his racing season as he competes in another micro sprint race, I believe, this coming weekend. So good luck to Preston Latimus there, and good luck to all the race car drivers, that is. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good night. Catch you later on another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube. And with that being said, also, if you would like to sponsor the racing show, go email me at jjnolan151@gmail.com, or you can text or call me at 712-209-7138. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications on my YouTube channel. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good night.